Ato Ahmed Shide, Minister of Finance, and His Excellency Dr. Siyum Mekonnen, State Minister of Plan and Development, and His Excellency most beautiful place, Addis Ababa University, and Your Excellency Ato Kabada Yimam, guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It truly is an honor to be saying that to you all, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. And I said I am proud to welcome you all to the signing ceremony today because this means so much to Ethiopia and to its efforts for two reasons. One, to the efforts of reducing deforestation and forest degradation protection, and two, Ethiopia's afforestation and reforestation efforts, including the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's new initiative of Green Legacy, that in just 5 years' time, ladies and gentlemen, in just 5 years, succeeded in planting an astounding number of 32 billion seedlings throughout Ethiopia, and we are preparing for another year coming this rainy season. What was
Excellency Ahmed Shide, Minister of Finance, Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Excellency Dr. Girma Mente, Minister of Agriculture for the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Excellency Minister Andreas Eriksson, Minister of Climate and Environment, Ambassador Mr. Sten Christian, Ambassador. In connection to this agreement, I want to assure you that Addis University can be considered as a dependable partner in your endeavor and efforts to meet the objective of this agreement. With a history of over 7 decades and hundreds of professors working across all disciplines, Addis University is uniquely positioned for assisting the implementation of this agreement, and we will gladly offer ourselves to that. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, I once again extend you a warm welcome and wish you a success with the agreement and the implementation of it. Thank you and have.
Good afternoon. ድምጽ የለም ደህና ዋላችሁ? His Excellency Mr. Ahmed Shide, Minister of the Ministry of Finance of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Your Excellency Andreas Eriksson, Minister for the Ministry of Climate and Environment of the Royal Norwegian Government, dear ambassadors, state ministers, invited guests, all protocols observed. First and foremost, I would like to express my pleasure to welcome His Excellency Mr. Andreas Eriksson and his delegation to Ethiopia. We are so much grateful to have Your Excellency here to sign a partnership agreement that has huge implication for leveraging our efforts to ensure sustainable natural resource management to meet both present day and future needs while contributing to the sustainable development of the community. I would like also to take this opportunity and thank the government of Norway on behalf of myself and Ministry of Agriculture for its continued financial support that has been instrumental in protecting and developing our forest resources. Excellencies, as you are well aware of, Ethiopia is one of the most vulnerable countries to the negative impacts of climate change. The country's high dependence on natural resources, coupled with the population pressure, has exacerbated the degradation of natural resources and increased the vulnerability of its population to climate change and its resultant effects such as droughts, floods, pests, and insect infestations. Those have undermined Ethiopia's efforts to become food self-sufficient. In some areas, the effects have even triggered migration and conflicts to be because of competition for a very scarce resources.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Partnership agreements just signed between the governments of Ethiopia and Norway. Ladies and gentlemen, we are selling our carbon, which is what means so much to Ethiopia. Now, ladies and gentlemen, but we know why we have to work very, very hard on planting trees and protecting our forests. Congratulations. If Dr. Girma and Ambassador Christensen can stand closer, please, closer to the two ministers. Wonderful, yes. One more round of applause. Thank you so much. Now let's go return to our seats and the ministers will make their remarks. Thank you so much. Let's all
Minister of Agriculture. On behalf of the people and government of Ethiopia, I would like to welcome Minister Andreas to Ethiopia, the land of origins. Norway and Ethiopia have a long-standing diplomatic relationship established over 77 years ago and a bilateral cooperation engagement since 1995. Our common interests are multiple, ranging from peace and security, climate change, and migration management, to gender equality, education, and increasingly private sector-led development. Norway, along with other development partners present in this room, have been supporting Ethiopia's vision of building a climate-resilient and carbon-neutral economy, as stated in the CRGE strategy, our nationally determined contribution, as well as the long-term low emissions development strategy. Following the signing of the first RED Plus partnership agreement in 2013, the government of Norway has provided over 1.2 billion Norwegian kroner to the management and the conservation of existing natural forests, restoration of degraded landscapes, and the related institutional capacity building. We also acknowledge Norway's contribution through the World Bank and other channels to support restoration of degraded landscapes and the management and the forestry conservation in Ethiopia. Thanks to your contribution to the RED Plus program, Ethiopia has been able to scale up the participatory forest management approach and has put over 700,000 hectares of existing forest under a sustainable management regime and restored over 1.3 million hectares of degraded landscapes through afforestation and assisted natural regeneration. The RED Plus investment program has improved livelihoods of over 500,000 people who live and around the natural forest and are engaged in the restoration of degraded landscapes. We use this opportunity to express our deep gratitude to the people and the government of Norway for their generous support thus far and the years to come. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, fighting climate change and poverty reduction remain among the top priorities of Ethiopia's government. Building disaster and climate resilient green economy is one of the key pillars of our 10-year national development plan. The nationwide tree planting campaign under the Green Legacy Initiative of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is another manifestation of Ethiopia's commitment to address climate change and poverty reduction through nature-based solutions. Between 2011 and 2019 alone, Ethiopia has invested over USD 82 billion in climate change mitigation and adaptation programs and projects. Majority of the finance of these projects and programs come from our public finance supplemented with international development aid. On the policy side, we have introduced an import tax regime that encourages importation of electric vehicles and discouraged import of used vehicles. At the Ministry of Finance, through the CRG facility, we are establishing a dedicated special fund to sustainably finance our Green Legacy Initiative and the restoration of degraded landscapes, to track budget allocation for climate change programs. Signed today is yet another testimony of our successful collaboration and achievement during the past decade and marks a new era of collaboration and partnerships, including through result-based payment approach in the run to 2030. Norway's commitment to pay up to USD 75 million for certified emission reduction from the forestry sector will enable us to continue investing in the management and the conservation of our standing forests and the restoration of our degraded landscapes. We strongly believe that Norway will continue supporting the transition from RED Plus second phase, which will end in June 2026, to the result-based payment phase in order to avoid financing gaps and the risk of losing the built-up momentum among those who engage and remain engaged in this process. Let me call upon our partners who signed in the Lima Climate Partnership in 2014 to support investment in the forestry and land management sectors, which collaboratively contribute to over 85% of emission reduction targets by 2030. Thank you all.
Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Your Excellency Girma Amente, and Honorable State Minister of Planning and Development, Your Excellency Seyum Mekonnen. Dear friends, dear colleagues, dear partners, we are gathered here today to celebrate the results of a decade-long climate and forest partnership between Norway and Ethiopia, and even more importantly, to declare our intentions to renew and extend this ambitious partnership through the signing of the updated partnership agreement. Relations between Norway and Ethiopia go decades back, and over the years we have enjoyed close collaboration on a wide range of social and economic issues tying us together as nations. Norway has been a long-standing partner of Ethiopia on climate and forest. We were one of the first countries to fully commit our long-term support for your climate-resilient green economy strategy when launched in Durban in 2011. And throughout this decade, Ethiopia truly has been a leader on the African continent when it comes to designing and implementing green economic development policies. Ethiopia is in many ways at the very front line of climate change, which I have learned very well on my trip here, which already negatively impacts many aspects of society, including the economy. And we highly commend the bold choice made already back in 2011 to transition to a green economy for a better future. Today, we come together to celebrate and recognize the result of a decade of commitment and hard work. The forest sector plays a key role in Ethiopia's green development plans as an important contributor to the economy, but also because it offers an opportunity to cut half of Ethiopia's emissions. Throughout support from Norway, the Ethiopian government, from federal to the local level, rich forests from unsustainable use, and to both protect its remaining forests and to restore what colleague and Minister for International Development, Her Excellency Ms. Anne Beate Tvinnereim, recently visited Ethiopia to discuss food security, which is a priority issue for our government. We are both encouraged by your efforts to ensure strong coordination between the mutually dependent policy agendas of forests and food systems. Norway's ambitions of continuing to provide strategic support on both arenas in the years to come remains strong. The Ethiopian forests are not only important to help the people of Ethiopia, they are of utmost importance also to neighboring countries and to the world. If we are to reach our common goals under the Paris Agreement and the Global Biodiversity Framework, Ethiopia must succeed. During this visit to Ethiopia, I have learned about the forests actually acting as a natural water tower for a whole downstream region with millions of peoples living close to the Nile. The forests are also biodiversity hotspots where species important to the web of our natural world lie. And for all these reasons, I am encouraged to learn that Ethiopia has increased its forest cover and that the forest cover map for 2023 is soon to be launched. This confirms that strong government policy measures can yield the necessary results that we need, and that the ambitious target of doubling the forest cover by 2030 very much is within reach. Norway is proud to have supported this achievement, and I am honored to be standing here today and to have signed the updated partnership agreement that extends our climate and partnership with Ethiopia until the end of this decade. During this next phase of our partnership, Norway intends to support Ethiopia with up to $100 million, which includes the continuation of the RED Plus investment program announced last year, but more importantly, a transition to financing for high-integrity emission reductions from the forest sector in the years to come. This transition to a new phase of the partnership with result-based payments is only possible because of the impressive work Ethiopia has committed to politically, institutionally, and practically on the ground. And it sets an example for the wider region. But, friends, this does not mean that the work is done. Halting and reversing tropical forest loss will require sustained political will and ambition, and continued investments in technical capacity to measure and report emission reductions on the ground. We will continue to support you in this endeavour and would warmly welcome more partners to take part.
Thank you so much, Minister Andreas Eriksson, for being here and for bringing such a